Hey everyone, today we're going over heroic Deadmines from the tank POV to help you guys get ready for Cataclysm Classic. So first thing to note here on this left side, you've got this little teleporter. This later on, if you wipe, this will be used to teleport you further into the dungeon, so you have less of a run back after a wipe. So keep that in mind anytime you wipe. Coming in here, we've got a bunch of mobs. I usually pull quite a bit of this. I think I'm going to start pulling like basically everything here in the future, but some things to note, there's like the TNT barrels, those will damage mobs. There's also these cannons too, and if I had done a better job of keeping those off, those kobolds off, that cannon wouldn't have died, but somebody can hop in that cannon, do a bunch of damage with that. But yeah, ideally, I think you really want to pull like basically, we'll skip ahead just a little bit. So I think we would probably want to pull up to here. Don't worry about those guys quite yet, I think, but I think that's what I'm going to be doing going forward, is just pull all the regular ogres and kobolds. Make sure they're in range of the cannon. Make sure the cannon doesn't die. That was some very poor tanking there. Some things got loose. But then you can pick up these bodyguards, do a little bit of damage. And we also got our first boss. So I actually pulled him while we still had some bodyguards. This guy, he's got a couple phases, but he's got these Fists of Frost. We'll do some AoE damage, you can see there. Then once he gets to 50%, he's going to teleport to the middle. Shortly after this, there's going to be some fire that spawns. That fire that you see moving there, that's going to become a beam soon. It's basically a cutter. So avoid that. You'll also get an achievement. I think it's called Ready for Raiding. If everybody dodges it, or maybe just if you dodge it, I can't remember, but there's an achievement for it. And also, if you don't dodge it, you just die. So probably want to dodge it. He's not too bad though. Is basically just comes down to like not staying in the gutter. This was like a half pug group, I think. So, and new stuff for everybody too. So everybody's still learning. All right, and here there's quite a bit going on here. So these monkeys on the wall, they're neutral. If you hit them, they'll attack you, and they're kind of annoying. They actually do a bit of damage, but you can click their like ball and chain thing and actually release them. If you release them, they're friendly and they help you. So if you can get people to like run around and click those, the monkeys will help you out quite a bit, and they also won't damage you. So that's pretty nice. And then the biggest mechanic here is motivate. So on this server, it was really annoying because like you had to mouse over something to be able to see its cast bar. So it just made interrupting really annoying. But the overseers, they're going to channel motivate, which is interruptible and should be interrupted. It does a lot of damage. So if they aren't being interrupted, your whole group's just going to take a lot of damage. So make sure you interrupt those. Free the monkeys. They're very useful. Once you get to here, these guys hit pretty hard. It's really their bleed that hits hard. So you can see this bleed debuff on me. Look at my HP now that I have these two bleeds on me. Like we prog Will of the Necropolis there. These guys are, once you have these bleeds on you, it's a good time to like look to use cooldowns. Vamp Blood, great there. I mean, depending on what class you are. Vamp Blood, you know, throw your wall there, whatever. But you can see the damage is pretty high. I'd definitely be ready to throw some well-timed DSs to get good healing. And then after the pull too, make sure, you know, keep an eye on the bleeds, because you could just kind of die walking into the next pull if you have some bleeds on you still. Because if you get 4 bleeds on you, the damage, I don't know if you can really heal through it. You definitely want to like pop wall and stuff. So in here, basically, I just try to pull like 2 at a time here. Then that guy, and grab that one next. You just gotta be a little bit careful for the boss here. It is pretty easy to accidentally pull the boss, so I just try to like hug this side and range pull him back to here. But same deal. Lots of damage on these guys. Let me go back a little bit. So when we pull the boss, we want to tank him on the sides. We want, because he's gonna, the guys up top here, these guys up here, they're gonna throw bombs at people. These guys can be killed too. They don't have a ton of HP, but they'll throw bombs at people. You want to make sure those bombs don't land in the middle. So here, you could see there, these bombs do crazy damage, but he's gonna like occasionally pick somebody up and like run them down the middle. So we don't want bombs in the middle here, because then when we run somebody through there, they can just get blown up. So that's why we're trying to keep them on the sides. But as a tank, you're both, you know, trying to look out for bombs that are going to hit you, but also try to keep your melee safe. So if they have problematic bombs, make sure you move. So here, I was trying to watch for bombs on them. I missed. One got thrown like right there. I'm totally missed it. And you could see it just insta-killed all of them. But this is often how this fight will go too. Is you as the Blood DK, a lot of times you're going to be one of the only people alive or the only person alive when the fight ends. Just kind of got to be ready for it. So here, the chest bomb, the little goblin that's riding on his back, he'll put a chest bomb on a random player. When you have the chest bomb, you want to get under this log, because it's going to send you into the air. You'll take a lot of fall damage if you aren't under the log. But if you're under the log, you just hit the log, you don't really take fall damage. It does a decent amount of damage, though, like on its own. If you take fall damage with it, it'll probably be lethal. It also damages players around you, too. So ideally, you want other players not near you when it goes off. Which, you know, can be problematic as a tank. But here we're just trying to cut around the outside, stay away from bombs, while also keeping the mid clear here. There was one bomb there. We lucked out. It didn't really matter. But you can see you kind of run out of room. So not a bad idea to kill the guys up top so they don't throw bombs at you. Because, I mean, look how many bombs are there. We'll skip ahead just a little bit. I think the boss actually... Oh, we actually killed him. Yeah. So once you kill the ogre, the goblin will jump off. He dies really quick. And then you can see the chest bomb there. So another thing to watch out for is even after the fight, make sure you're being careful of the bombs. Because somebody at the last second, actually he has like a couple seconds left on his chest bomb and boom. Blew up. So that was unfortunate. I threw my battle res though. Got our healer up so we could res everybody. But now we're going to move into the next area. So here, these evokers, the main thing they do, they'll put like a red bubble up. Hopefully we'll see that here, but it increases damage done by anyone inside of it, including mobs. So ideally you'd have the mob outside of it, but everybody else close enough to hit it. But what I've kind of found is it doesn't really matter if the mobs are in it. So a lot of times I'll just tank the mobs in there so I get the damage buff too. I mean, you could even position it so you're in it and they're out of it, but it seemed to me it wasn't really super worthwhile. Like, they just kind of melt when the whole group has that damage buff, and like you can throw a cooldown if you need to. So their Holy Fire can hit decently hard, so worth interrupting. But yeah, in my experience, it was totally fine to just tank the mobs in the red bubble. But if you're finding you're taking too much damage doing that, you can position accordingly. So the group benefits from it, but the mobs do not. And really, this pull, I would just, in the future, I think I would just pull that entire hallway up to the door there, then AoE everything down. You can see there, we did a little jump off onto the ramp. These guys, you'll have no problem pulling all 4 of these. Just grab all of these. You do have a cleave, face them away. Had a few miners left too. They get down here eventually. Die pretty much as soon as they get here. These guys really don't do a whole lot though, so we can just skip forward a bit. So this guy, he's got a couple abilities. So one thing, there's a like prototype Reaper guy somebody can grab. It's like a, controllable vehicle thing. And we weren't really doing this fight the way it was designed. We were just kind of bursting the fire elementals down. The typical way you're like supposed to do the fight is the person in the prototype like 100% handles the fire elementals. A lot of groups will even like drag this guy up the ramp so that like the fire elementals are like forced to like travel a long way and funnel up the ramp. They'll just spawn over here. So that is something you can do. Otherwise, I would just have people like stay away from that area. However you want to do it. But the fire elementals will just fixate a random person. I don't know if it'll work this way on live, but I was able to like taunt them too. So you could try that. But it is a bit of damage when the fire alley is like AoEing everybody, and you got the boss doing his AoE too. Let me just show that one again. So this overdrive one, he just randomly runs around and kind of whirlwinds people around him. I want to show one of his other abilities too. Basically, he'll pick a random person and he'll after a short time he'll move toward them and do like a frontal AoE as he moves toward them. Not sure if he's actually gonna do it. Okay, it was right there. So this harvest, somebody will get marked for it, and then after a short time, he'll just move toward that spot. They just gotta move out of the way. And ideally move a little bit away from him, so it's not like, kind of a point blank cast. But yeah, that's pretty much that fight. As you can see, it can get pretty chaotic if you're not really handling the fire elementals correctly. So good to have somebody actually in the vehicle there. So this is more the Defias guys, same deal. You got like the melee ones, and then you'll also have the ones that put down the red bubble. So you'll probably be okay just moving all the way to the end here. So there's the red bubble. Anything inside gets a damage buff. You can see how quickly this stuff dies when the whole group's in there. And I just popped a wall there just to be safe, but it wasn't even necessary. Then you'll shoot the cannon to open the door. Some mobs are waiting for you out there. Once there's a bubble, I would just like AoE everything down. But other than that, you can move. Cannons are gonna... It's actually amazing. I didn't remember that happened in this one. So cannons are actually gonna shoot those spots, and they do that little knockback, as you can see. And they changed this spot over here, so you can't actually jump up here. There might be like some clever spot you can use, but like the OG method does not work. Just the easy, you know, walk up there. So we'll fast forward a little bit. I had to do the walk of shame back. My whole group waiting for me. So coming up here, the main thing you care about here are Squall Shapers. They're going to cast Sea Swell. That will wreck you. It's like a Cthulhu Beam, like Chain Lightning kind of thing. So that really needs to be interrupted every single time. Usually somebody's going to die if a cast goes off. So I generally try not to pull like too many of those guys at a time, just so it's very easy to stay on top of interrupts. But if you are going to pull more than like one or two, make sure you got people ready to interrupt. So we did like the wheel jump here. But later on, we did have to like kill those other guys anyway. There's like a little nightmare portion later where you actually come back through here. I don't know if on live those guys are going to be there in the nightmare phase, but on here they were. So the skip actually doesn't do a ton. I mean, you can like skip it, but you're moving really fast later on. So a lot of people just like kind of fall off. So it's up to you if you want to do that skip or not. It like barely saves time, but it's something you could do. You just gotta look for the wheel jump twice. That's all. So we have another Squall Shipper here. Again, you can see a lot of damage there. Like I said before though, I can't see cast bars unless I mouse over things, so I was just sleeping on that one. Also, just the nameplates in general are like awful on this server, so it's like just hard to see things. But up here we got our next boss, Rip Snarl. This guy is just more annoying than anything. He really doesn't do much. Just he has a mechanic that's kind of like a Nubarak and a Jolnarub, where he's just gonna constantly be like unattackable. That's kind of the main thing. As you can see at the end there, you got some stacks of his buff. He started to do a bit more damage, but yeah, you're going to go into this like vapor phase where you just one-shot these mobs over and over again until the boss finally reappears. And you got to do that phase a bunch of times, so this is like the worst boss, but this is the entire boss fight. Is you fight him for a few seconds and then you have to do the vapor phase again. So very annoying boss. As soon as you kill him, you can run in here to start Cookie. Just getting near him starts the fight. So this is kind of a cool fight. He gets in his little stew pot. He's gonna drop two kinds of food on the ground. The green ones here, these are like poison food. Generally the tank will pick these up. You click them to pick them up. It'll put a stacking damage over time debuff on you. So the tank, you know, best person to just kind of grab those. They do AoE damage to people around them. So that's why we're picking them up, is to like clear the floor. And then the tank takes that damage for everybody else. He'll drop some other food that gives you like a stacking buff. I think it's a haste buff. I can't quite remember. But generally, you'll just let the DPS pick that up, and you'll, as the tank, pick up these like poisoned ones just to keep the ground free. I usually don't care about the ranged ones too much. I just kind of pick up the melee ones. But if there's a lot of ranged ones, you could pick them up. You're also going to keep taking a lot of damage from this after the fight. So just something to consider. Well, depending on how many you picked up. So yeah, just be aware of that so you don't die after the fight. And then as soon as you kill him, I already clicked it, but there's a little letter that spawns in the front here. This part's a heroic only part. If you do this dungeon on normal, this part won't happen, but in front of that cabin, there's a letter. You click it, it summons Vanessa VanCleef, the final boss. That'll start this little nightmare part. She like gives you a hallucinogenic. So it'll start you back in the Foe Reaper room, and just to show you real quick. So when you spawn here, there's going to be like 4 things you can click. Just anybody in the group clicks this and you get thrown out. So here, you can just go the normal way, but it's better to jump off here. So if you jump off, what you're going to do, you're just going to angle for this open part here. And this part, a lot of people are going to die here. I'm not sure what the fire is going to look like on live, but at least on here, the fire definitely did damage a little bit beyond like its animation. So people, generally like half the group would die here. We spent so much time just like rezzing people here that I kind of just started running to the boss, solo him, and then when the group gets there, they get there. Because we were just kind of like waiting, like people would die, we'd try to res them, then the people rezzing would die, and so I just started like pulling the boss as soon as I could, and whenever the group gets there, they get there. You could also see there were some blue circles on the ground. Does like a frost damage effect, so just don't stand in that. It also knocks you back a little bit, I think, so it can like knock you into fire. So you'll probably die if you get hit because you'll take initial damage from it, and then you'll take the fire damage too. So right here, you're going to kill a Helix. He's going to spawn right here, and then a bunch of spiders spawn throughout the room too. So just AoE them down as they come in, but you're just trying to focus down Helix ASAP, because that will end this phase. This next part's very fun too. This is honestly my favorite heroic by far. It's so cool. So there's going to be some lightning cutters in here. If you get close to them, they'll start doing like tons of lightning damage to you. And I went the wrong way there. You just go through here, and yeah, you just kind of dodge. Just dodge all of them. And there, you'll see pugs dying there all the time. But yeah, you're just getting to the end here. You're going to kill the Foe Reaper, and then that'll progress you to the next area. Doesn't really do a whole lot. You'll kind of just burn right through them. Just got to wait for the door to open. Really takes his sweet time. Milking the moment. You'll have some organs to kill here. Once you kill them, you'll get a speed buff. So now you move really, really quick. Kill some more organs. And then we were like kind of checking this out, seeing if we could like skip ahead. Like see if the boss was already there so we could just AoE everything down. It didn't really work out. And you can see there's a Squall Shaper, so we should definitely be interrupting and killing that. That was the one left over from before. if we had killed these Worgens and then did the wheel jump, we would have been able to avoid these though. But then once you kill that second Worgen pack that we dragged like all the way up here, then you can kill the Worgen boss again. Luckily this time he does not do the whole vapor phase, because that is the worst. Once you kill him, you get out of the nightmare. Now you can fight Vanessa VanCleef. So you gotta be a little bit careful here. I was kind of limit testing a little bit here. Tried to pull her ASAP, but down here it's gonna fill with fire. So if there's somebody like a bit further back, they could get killed. It does take a while, as you can see though, for the fire to spawn. But if somebody's behind, maybe give them a sec so they don't die to that immediately. Out of the cabin, you're gonna have some Defias spawn. If your healer like stands over here, it just gives you more time to like pick it up, because the mob has to like, you know, travel basically right through you. You could also just tank it right there, but it's a bit better to tank it right here, and you'll see why in just a second. But she has like a deterrent she casts, which is really annoying. She just like parries everything. You'll also get these red bubbles in the fight from some of the Defias mobs. You probably don't want to tank Vanessa in it, so she is one that would probably be a good idea to tank outside of it, but may or may not be necessary. So here, Vanessa is going to disappear and 5 ropes are going to spawn. The easiest way to do this is right when she disappears, kind of like move to a spot over here. Just move to a spot and like stand still. And that should hopefully signal to everybody else that that's like the rope you're going to take, so they don't take it. But that doesn't always happen. So you're going to wait a few seconds. Wait a few seconds, then click it, and it's going to send you off. If you click it too soon, I had it like basically exactly right, just to, you know, give yourself a little leeway. You may want to click it a little bit slower than I did there. But it'll take you off of the ship. The whole ship is going to like engulf in flames. So the idea is you're going off on the rope during that time, and you come back right when the flames go away. So we're back in. Vanessa's got the deterrence off, so we can't hit her at all, which sucks. There's now some fire, obviously, too, on the ship, so just keep her away from that. And it is percent based. I can't remember what percent she left at. It might be 66 and 33. No. I'm not sure where the percents are, but 25 is apparently one of them. But yeah, just wait a sec, then click it. If you click it immediately, you can see there Pally almost died. Clicked it a little bit too early. At the end here, she's going to get this enrage buff. She's going to start hitting really hard at the end here. This is a good time to use some cooldowns, some defensives. At the end here, she is going to stop at 1% HP, or just 1 HP. She's going to start casting a self-destruction, basically. You want to get away from this. You will see what happens if you don't right here. One shot. So in every group I think I've ever done this with, usually at least one person dies, but oftentimes it's like 2 or 3. So you can save yourself some time, rezzing and everything, by just moving away, because she's going to be stationary. She'll one-shot you if you're near her. I mean, I'm not sure how much the damage is, so maybe you can AMS through it, but there's nothing to do at that point anyway, so just run away. Or you can bait people into getting themselves killed by not moving yourself, because when they see you move, they might move too. So if you're trying to get your friends killed, you may just want to use all your cooldowns to survive this, to not give it away, so that they stay in and they get killed. So just a little pro tip there to get your friends killed. But yeah, that's the whole heroic Deadmines. It's kind of a long one, but it's really cool. I like this revamp. It's a lot of fun. It's my favorite heroic in Cata. But I hope that was helpful for you guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.